Okay, so good morning, my dear channel, and I'm not gonna waste your time introducing myself. I guess if you check my last book, it's gonna be enough to introduce myself. If you want to spend time on that, I will go straight to the video to not make it too long. And as always, I'm gonna promote. Well, not always, but today I'm gonna promote my last book, which is only 2 seconds to promote it, okay? And now let's dive into the video. Probably if you read the title, you already have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. And today I'm going to try to pronounce much better so you understand what I say. So if you read the title, you know what we were going to talk about. And before diving into that, I'm going to make a small parenthesis and share other valuables, pieces of knowledge and philosophy, and because this channel is about that, and that's why my videos sometimes are so long, because this channel is about finding the truth, describing the truth. It's not about making content that has to be short so it's consumable and you want to watch it, and you want to watch some ads after it and I can make some money. Now, this channel is about looking for the truth and describing many interesting things. And some days I wake up and I have no ideas. Other days I wake up like today, 6:40 a.m., around that, and I have ideas to share. And the parenthesis I wanted to make is, for example, today I'm sitting here and normally I'm standing up because perhaps I'm a little bit tired of sharing all of this, and I understand that perhaps nobody will watch this, or nobody will find these ideas relevant, despite many of them will be relevant. Sometimes the writer makes the mistake of mixing many relevant information around the many irrelevant words, so then nobody reads and nobody informs themselves about what they should inform themselves. And I'm sitting here because if my experience is valuable for you, the thing of positioning a company like I did after I studied all the things I studied, which pushed me to publish the book I published. One thing is that it takes you time. It's time consuming to start a business and to understand the things you need to start it. And second thing, that's why I'm sitting today instead of standing up. It's like you feel a little bit tired. Like, I don't want to do what I'm doing right now. I want to focus in what I could focus, which could produce money. That, as doing other stuff, could produce money. I can grab a job completely different to my business, right? But I could focus on that and forget about you. And forget about doing bad marketing on myself, because if I'm going to be selfish, I'm going to be greedy and I'm going to be simple. Instead of confusing you with so many words, I'm going to be simple. Instead of sharing things like the ones I shared today. So, one important idea that I want to share with you today is that philosophy, in some way, many ways, in some way and sometimes, it dives into irrelevant ideas. But to honor the truth, we must say philosophy dives into irrelevant ideas that perhaps tomorrow could become relevant. Okay? And also what knowledge is relevant depends on our economical situation, in our virtue, in how much time we have to educate ourselves. Perhaps what I'm doing right now is heavy for many people, that they only want to take short courses because they don't have a lot of budget or a lot of time to study. But what you are seeing what you're seeing in myself right now, what I'm doing right now, is that I'm diving in many ideas, and you might think, wow, why he is like so dispersed? When is he going to say something very important? Like those things I listen in school, they teach me about history and about all these things that they sell me are so important, and in many cases they are right. Okay, but what I'm doing right now is diving on ideas, different ideas. I'm talking about different things, and knowledge in some way is like a tree with many branches, right? And philosophy, what it does in some way, it does many useful things, it has many benefits beyond this. But what it does, philosophy, is it goes all across those branches, right? And then one idea can take you to other ideas. So you take this branch of history and then it takes you to other two things about history. And ideas work like that. And human beings, we can become very dispersed, but we're not crazy. So it's not like you can think about anything. You always follow an idea, and that idea takes you to another one. Okay? And philosophy is the art of exploring all those possible ideas. And very good philosophers, they can have like a sense of in which direction I'm going to find something relevant. Okay, historians, for example, are very good in history because they know which parts of history are relevant. Okay, but philosophy is much more broad. It's not subject focused. So philosophy is going to is going to find lagoons. These ideas lead you to different lagoons with knowledge. Every idea could be a clue, giving you a direction to a lagoon. And many of these lagoons are irrelevant. Many perhaps will find this video irrelevant. Other people might find my words in some way relevant. Okay? Or perhaps they're just using me to practice English or whatever. If I'm speaking French, they will use me to speak French, and to learn French, sorry. So, these lagoons sometimes are irrelevant, but which is important to understand is sometimes an irrelevant lagoon, with time, circumstances will change, and it will become relevant again. So we have two types of lagoons, okay? One lagoon is the one that was relevant but became irrelevant, okay? And then time passed by, and that lagoon become relevant again. Sorry, I don't know if I lost myself. So it was relevant, it became irrelevant, and then time passed by, and it becomes relevant again. So you have one lagoon like that. And then you have another type of lagoon which is relevant too, but which is undiscovered. So the work of philosophers, of course, is to find lagoons, perhaps it's here in the middle, which is yet undiscovered. And you need to go to one idea, and that idea takes you to another one. And you end up landing on this lagoon of knowledge, of wisdom. And perhaps that was an undiscovered lagoon. And only by the act of philosophy and thinking and reasoning, plus combining that with experience and science and a lot of things that can guide you to find even more hidden ideas, it can lead you to find many relevant things. In the same way, you become wise because perhaps I know about, for example, a war tactic, that many years ago was relevant but is irrelevant right now. But then we go into war again. And I'm in charge of guiding an army to victory. Okay, I have that wisdom that many people thought it was irrelevant, but then with time it becomes relevant. So at the end, it's very hard to judge uh, who's really the best prepared, because circumstances can change. Okay, philosophy is very dispersed. What's the difference between philosophy and education? Education is many ideas which we are sure are important and are vital pieces for a person education, for a person's education. So with this method, which is much slower and dispersed, maybe many people can reach wisdom in some areas that might be rare. Okay, but education is like the straight path. Many ideas which we know are relevant, which we defined as relevant as a society, and even we can put them in a list. Okay, we're studying history. Okay, in history, which lagoons are important? Okay, prehistory, Greek mythology and the history of the Greeks, and medieval era, the biggest nations of the medieval times. I don't know, American Revolution. So many things I get put from different historical periods. Okay. The thing is that education know which ideas are relevant. Okay, but that doesn't take that sometimes education could be incomplete, and only philosophy with these methods is going to find many things that are missing. And in some way, religion, like philosophy, it explores and sometimes puts a focus in this lagoon, in this set of values, which education is not gonna focus on. This is why many people that go to religious schools, for example, and even after that they become atheists, and they feel cheated on, they feel in some way they receive a good education because those schools will focus in some lagoons that other people don't focus on, and we can't call them crazy for doing that, you know. And in many cases we discover that those religious people actually were wise because they focused in many important values and ethics that regular people with the standard education didn't focus on, because their teachers forgot to teach them, or because it wasn't even planned to be on the educational program. But repeating myself, so we underline at least an idea, so you have something you can remember, because you're not going to remember 13 minutes of video. You're going to remember what I repeat again and again, and perhaps something else. So there's ideas that are irrelevant and ideas that are relevant, and philosophy often helps you land in relevant ideas. You know, this is like the story of the Buddhist monk, which is meditating, right, and arrives to an epiphany or a nirvana moment, right? It's because he's going through a very slow process of finding truths with philosophy, insight, and meditation, right? Other guys don't need that monk style because perhaps they have education helping them, and they go straight to the right idea. Okay. However, I defend that sometimes meditation is the only way you're gonna take time to realize something. Because if somebody tells you directly, perhaps you don't listen. But perhaps if you meditate, you will listen to yourself. Okay. So basically that's the introduction, you know. I think all these things I shouldn't tell to people for my own benefit. Probably nobody's gonna want to watch this because it's gonna be too long, but you know, it's important to put it out there, because then I will die and I won't be able to put it out there. And luckily I'm young, I have many years ahead, but for my own sake, I think I should stop doing this, and not because, because it's bad or evil. It's because I have better things to do in some way. I get older, I get better at business, I start understanding the opportunities out there. So some way doing this is like more like helping you, and I'm not helping myself at all. And even I'm building a bad brand, you know. uh, I think I could build a better brand for myself if I speak less, if I how to say it, instead of trying to sell me as the wise or the charlatan or the philosopher, I could sell me as the guy that speaks little and tells you interesting stuff and tells you which are the best stocks to buy so you make money, and tells you everything very shortened and comfortable to watch, right? And that in business is much better, I guess, than this. But well, myself, my priority, and sorry if I'm wrong here, is to do what I consider to be right, and one of those things is to advertise truth telling and saying the truth. And basically that's why I do this, despite I know isn't a good move. Probably this half an hour I could better spend it on my computer doing more research about stocks, for example, which I had already did a lot because it's part of my current business. I know more than 60 securities very deeply and much more superficially. But let's do a little bit of philosophy, I guess, and helping others, if this is something of any help. Okay, so now going to the subject I wanted to talk on the video, and I think it adds value that I'm an immigrant in America, and I came here, and I even took risks to come to this country. I remember I came with $500 in my pocket and not even a great job offer. Since I came here, I was kind of working, but I really sacrificed myself to come here, and there was a reason behind. And as I put in the title of this video, and I'm gonna cut the video here to then upload a short version of this talk, and now we start again the video. So hello everybody, welcome to my video again, and now we're gonna talk about what I put on the title, right? America and the American dream in some way, and why I think people don't want to let America fall apart and die. Why so many countries out there seem to be failing and dying, but America's like it stays strong. And it's not only the competitive advantage, the money. It's like it has a special magic, right? That you don't find elsewhere. And this video is gonna be about that special magic. I don't know if many are gonna see me as a patriot, or a patriot that cannot even speak English, but or someone that loves America. This is gonna sound like an advertisement of America, I get. But what I'm trying to tell you is something different. I'm trying to explain you why I think America is different and why it's capable to hold still and go through so many challenges. So back in my home country, or I have multiple nationalities, for example in France, I have this feeling, this national identity, where I don't want to let the country fail. And in the same way, I feel the same for the United States of America. I feel that I don't want this country to fail, and I felt the same in all the countries I tried to emigrate or where I lived. Okay, but I think America has something extra, which is there's a lot of work put on here in this country and the infrastructure, and also in maintaining most of the greatest minds and entrepreneurs in this country. But also, this is a very nice comparison, right? It's like when a company invested so much in marketing, right, and in creating a good image of themselves. and advertising them as the number one in this, or one of the best in the industry, right? And in the same way, America has gone through so many years and so many people and movies and patriots and people that love America, or entrepreneurs that feel the luckiest people alive because they were born here, or they build their business here, like in my case, that I'm an immigrant doing that. Um, After so many years, many people has advertised America and has sold it as something very powerful, and a place where we all try to keep the American dream alive. And when we see an entrepreneur, or when we see other people that's trying to get ahead, we try to help them, or at least if we don't help them, because lately people is quite weak in this country. If we don't help them, we at least, it's like we don't discriminate them, or we don't make the things difficult. We give freedom here to people, so they do what they want to do. Even if you are like a porn star, in other countries you might be judged. Here it's like, we have so many pretty girls into that, in my opinion, not very nice business, but that's me coming from a more traditional country. Like here in America, it's like they don't care, right? Everybody that's trying to get ahead, we don't judge, or we try not to judge, or we judge more lightly. We judge them in an American way, right? We judge you negatively if you want to stay poor, which we consider terrible. You have to get ahead. But what I'm trying to say is that when a country and so many entrepreneurs spend so much time advertising a country as a marvelous thing, and trying to sell it as something wonderful, then when the thing is failing or is going in the wrong direction, right? First, you have the feeling that you don't want your own country to fall apart. And this is a feeling I think most natives from a country have, okay, about their country. First, you don't want the country to fall apart. And second, this is something unique about America. You don't want all that marketing and all those lies, if those are lies. I hope they're not. I hope they're truths, and people keep making them truth. You don't want all those, all that marketing to fall apart. Because it's like, I make a great company. Let's suppose my business is destined to be great, right? I do a great company and I put the marketing out there that we're the best company, that we have the best customer service. So what happens when I start hiring people that they suck at customer service? I'm like, oh my God, I spend all this money in advertisement, in marketing, and man, I wanna fire these people. I don't care if it costs me a lot of money. I wanna fire those guys because they make my advertisement to be fake, right? And in the same way, America, when they find negative people, or people that don't like entrepreneurs, or communists, like the grandpa that hate the communists, we want to kick them out, right? Or we want at least to tell them, to don't deny the freedom of speech of people, or so on, right? In the same way, when the country is falling apart, there's a feeling here in America that we don't want to lose that edge and all that time and love and advertisement we put out there about America. Imagine if it falls apart. Imagine if it's a country where you earn a low wage like other countries, right? No, we want people to keep earning minimum $30,000 a year because it's part of our identity. So that's perhaps a third point, the national identity we have here. But I don't want to make this video too complex. That's the two things I wanted to underline. First is the same feeling I have in my country. I don't want it to fall apart. And that's that applies to all the nations. But then with America, with the United States of America, they have a second feeling, which I think other countries don't have, which is, okay, we had put all this advertisement out there, or we have this advantage and we don't want to lose it. You know, it's like FOMO, fear of missing out. Like in the stock market, you have fear of missing out the best investments. You know, if you're fearing to miss out the best investments, try my book. But it's like fear of missing out, of seeing what will happen if we lose this competitive advantage, right? Myself, sometimes things happen in this country because this country is so deteriorated that I want to move out, to be honest, you know. But for example, then I see many of my heroes, which are American entrepreneurs, and many stayed here and paid a shitload of taxes, and they stay here. And I admire them because they had the chance of having that experience of bonding with one place. And at the end, yes, I'm not naive. I realize that perhaps they pay a lot of taxes, but the country at the same time provided certain level of talent that help their companies to grow and all of that. But I think you can move abroad and get talent too. So in some ways, like that decision of staying in one place, and at the same time, this is like, it makes my point.